Welcome, welcome. If today is your first time tuning into the show, you picked an amazing episode to launch into. If you've been with me before, welcome back because today we're diving deep into Inner Child Healing 101. I'm going to talk about and teach some tools and techniques that are literally the foundation and the number one tool I've used to heal my complex PTSD. So if you're out there and you're struggling with boundaries to either set them or uphold them, if you are feeling like you are over serving in your relationships, you're giving more than you're receiving, if you get dysregulated when you're triggered, if you have emotions that seem a little disproportionate to what's going on, I've got answers for you. I've got help for you. Whenever I'm like on Instagram or TikTok, I follow so many influencers and content creators on self-development and healing work. And you always hear, you've got to do the healing work. You've got to do the healing work, but they don't tell you how. And I'm starting to see more of this, but this is what I'm passionate about is the how. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a licensed therapist. However, I am a certified hypnotherapist. I'm a twice certified life coach, and I've been through hundreds, if not thousands of hours of therapy. Like no joke. I've lived it. And I've read a ton of books. So what's interesting to me about this inner child work is I want to give you a little bit of a background on how it entered my aura or my orbit, my world, my healing world. And it was about 15 years ago. So I had signed up for a Sedona Soul Adventure. I'll post a link to the bio. Great organization that puts together these soul retreats. I knew something wasn't right. And if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. My soul is calling for something different. It is. Listen to that voice. So I went on this Sedona Soul Adventure. I booked the trip. I'm meeting with 11 practitioners over 5 days. They helped me organize who I was going to talk to, what my goals and objectives were. And then, well, this space between, okay, I've booked the trip and now I'm waiting to take the trip was probably a span of about 5 weeks. So I had a little bit of time that I had to wait to take this trip. And I just started, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. I just started following my intuition. And I found myself driving in this neighborhood. At the time, I was living in Kirkland, Washington. I was new there. I was incredibly unhappy, like desperation unhappy. I'm driving around the neighborhood with my dog, and we were looking for a place to, I was going to take him to a park. But I was like, I'm just going to drive around, get to know the neighborhood, and I'm going to follow my intuition. Now, this idea of just, oh, let me just follow my intuition, I'm sure I heard of it somewhere, but I wasn't on a ton of social media back, 15 years ago. So I don't know where this came from other than my higher self. So I started to follow my intuition. And next thing you know, I end up at Bastyr University. There was, I think it was like a food day, organic farming day, something like that. And I was like, oh, I'll just go stroll around there. And I remember getting out of the parking lot and I couldn't figure out where the entrance to this event was from where we parked. The signage was terrible. So I just, again, followed my intuition. Next thing you know, I'm in the halls of the university, standing right in front of a brochure rack. And it jumps out at me. I'll never forget this. It jumps out at me, this pamphlet on becoming a certified hypnotherapist. Now, this all ties together. I promise you, follow me. So I pick up the pamphlet and it talks about this training certification course with Mary Lee LeBay. I'll drop her link in here too. And something inside me just screamed, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. I need to do this. So I get home, I talk to my husband at the time about this certification course. He's all in support of it. I was like, it's just calling to me. I'd already done a life coaching certification, but I really believed in the power of transforming your life through changing your subconscious wiring. That ties to this too. So I signed up for the certification program, which was like another, I don't know, 5 or 6 months down the road. But anyhow, backtrack. It's all coming together and it all lands on inner child healing because I go to my soul retreat. And one of the practitioners that I met with, I didn't realize it was hypnotherapy at the time or hypnosis, whatever you want to call it. To me, it was just a meditation and a guided visualization. I was laying, so first she had me pick these fairy cards and angel cards. No, fairy and goddess cards. So I picked some cards, and next thing you know, this like beautiful story was created around the energy and the power of these cards. And that carried into the meditation that she led me into, which was also the same as a guided meditation or hypnotherapy, because we were really doing work in this. And what she invited me to do was find myself in a meadow, a beautiful meadow with flowers. And I'm about to greet myself, my younger self, at any age that she wanted to show up. And she showed up as a 3-year-old. And I could see her wild curly hair and this big smile on her face. As you probably know, I'm probably going to tear up and cry in this episode because that's what I do. But I see her coming toward me, and I'm invited to sit with her and just get to know her a little bit. And then the practitioner asked me to create a safe home for she and I to walk into. Um, and I just, as I'm recounting this story, I'm like, duh, it all made sense, but I didn't know it. I didn't comprehend enough about the healing work to connect everything that I was actually experiencing. And so if any of you are going down this healing path and you're confused about these techniques or you don't know how they work, I promise it will one day make sense. So I create this beautiful cabin. I can remember, like this was 15 years ago, and I can remember the cabin that I created for myself and my little one to go into. And then the practitioner had me create, she first said, you have parents. You have parents that did the very best that they could with the very best that they knew. But you know you needed more. So today you are going to create your ideal mother and father. And let's start with your mother. Now, for any of you listening, if you know anything about me, my mother passed away years ago. She was severely bipolar my entire life, but when she was well, I loved her unconditionally through and through, not just when she was well, but when she was well, I had the most amazing relationship with her. She was so loving, so nurturing, so supportive, so accepting, but I didn't get that version of her very often in my life. So the idea of me creating my perfect mother was really challenging for me because I had such a loyalty to her and such a love for her. And the practitioner could sense this and just really invited me again to say, my mother is my mother, but I get to create, if I could create the perfect version of who little Christa needed, I call her Cricket, little Cricket needed, then I would absolutely get everything that I needed. It was almost like she was tuning into my higher self or my soul's essence of what I needed that I didn't get in childhood, which is absolutely correct. We know exactly what we need. Um, Subconsciously, I should say that subconsciously, we know what we needed. So I started to create this young woman. And what was interesting, she had me create the age and her hair and what is she wearing. And which was really, really powerful. And she was just this beautiful, like 28-year-old woman with this long, flowy blonde hair. And I looked a lot like her. But she was very, very feminine. I tend to be more of a tomboy, but she was very feminine. She was wearing this yellow dress with printed flowers on it. I mean, I can still see all this. And then I had to give her a name, and I'm blanking on the name I gave my mother. But what's interesting is I could remember what I named my father, which was Luke. And he was tall, he had dark hair, he was handsome, he wore a flannel shirt, he had like a medium to bigger build. He was just like a big teddy bear, and he had just this beautiful, soft, gentle energy. And then once I created them, I got to invite my 3-year-old to have a dialogue with them and interact with them and watch them love and speak to her in the way that she needed to. And the way that they held her and just told her how, I am going to cry, how beautiful she was, what a delight her spirit was, how funny she is, how playful she is. It was like my heart was bursting through me. And this happens to me today when I do this work. It's so incredibly powerful, this inner child healing. I do a different form of it today. We'll get to that. But I just felt this overwhelming sense of love and ease and peace that I really hadn't felt before. So that was my first experience with inner child healing. And to say that it 180'd my life was kind of crazy. Now, moving on to the hypnotherapy, because this is where this piece comes in now, right? So now I'm in my certification program, and I learn one of the techniques is inner child healing. And again, it's this idea of meeting your inner children. Usually they show up one age at a time. You create a safe space for them. You invite one of them to show up, and you just start a dialogue with them. You just start to say, hey, what's going on? What's going on in your life right now? What's going on in your life at this age? You study them. You look at what they're wearing, what their demeanor is, what's on their face, and then just start asking them questions. And the most powerful one is, what do you need right now? And so I've used this technique with clients in hypnotherapy. As I shared, I did it in the session, but I wasn't doing it regularly with me. Why? I don't know. I just didn't get at the time that this inner child healing work is literally rewiring the old wounds from childhood so that they can be processed and integrated, and you can show up as your best self. So that was that. So those were the 2 times that I did it. And then I just got away from it for years, like over a decade. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I started working with a trauma specific therapist. And in my over 40 years of therapy, this was the first time I was diagnosed with complex PTSD from what I experienced from my mom's illness to how my brother handled it to how my father treated me because he wasn't processing the pain that came with having a wife who had a severe mental illness. So she started talking to me about this dysregulation, and the first time a word got brought to my attention, a new vocabulary word in my trauma healing, a word called becoming blended. And this came about because I was specifically talking about my current partner at the time who had very heavy narcissistic traits. I'll just say traits. Um, and it was a very toxic relationship. It was a very toxic relationship because one, I'm an Enneagram 8, so I'm totally comfortable with conflict and confrontation. I am a fighter. I am not a flighter or a freezer. And so I would go into fight mode with him whenever he would push my boundaries. I was really really stable and level for about a year and a half. And then I didn't realize what was happening over time as I was wearing out, I was wearing down, I was overwhelmed. My brain couldn't handle it anymore. And now the triggers were becoming my capacity to become regulated and have a conversation about it were shrinking to the point where I was becoming triggered very, very quickly because I was in complete disconnect with my authentic self. So my authentic self is strong. She knows her worth. She knows her boundaries. She isn't afraid to walk away from anything. She's independent and self-sufficient. But what I didn't know is I was fighting with my inner children who hadn't gotten the healing that they needed from the time I was 6 months old to the time I was, well, I mean, the children that show up for me came in as old as 21 years old before which is, I can look back and that was around the time where I started to create my own identity, my own sense of self, my own rules and values and boundaries and what I'm willing to give and not give. But when we don't heal those inner children and give them what they needed, we can become what's called blended. So what happens is we attract these people in that trigger those old wounds. And in this case, it was how my father spoke to me, how he treated me, how he talked down to me, how he called me names. And Dad, I love you. I love you so much. And you've done so much of your own healing work to change that. I just want to acknowledge my dad right now. And anyone listening that knows him knows he's really done a lot over the past few years. But we create these relationships that mimic that. And then we try to change them and get them to be kind to us, to be loving to us, to validate our feelings, to respect our boundaries. Because if we can get them to do that, then we know we are worthy of love. That is what the inner child believes. And so I started working with my therapist on having these regular dialogues with my inner children. And the more that I spoke to them and worked with them, the more that I was able to see the reality of the situation. Now, the hard truth was, my therapist told me, you will not be able to heal your inner children completely until you are out of this relationship and until you are no longer addicted to alcohol. And so I fought for a year to end my relationship. It was very difficult because I kept becoming blended with those inner children that would make me just say, well, it's you that did it. It's you that exploded. It's you that pushed him away. Like, if you could just do this, if you could just lose weight, if you could just be calm and kind for him, if you could just be a good girl. Like, I used to, when I would become dysregulated, I would say that to him. Like, I would use these crazy words, becoming dissociated from my adult self. So I fought for a year. I ended that relationship. I finally got separation from it. I did an incredible psychedelic journey in November of 2023 that helped me release my reliance on alcohol. I haven't drank since, and I got to work on healing my inner child. And all it requires, it's not easy when you're new to it and you don't even think of it because you're not even aware of when it's your adult self versus your inner child. But it comes with practice over time. And a great way to start is just by closing your eyes taking a few deep breaths. Imagine that you're in a safe space, a space where you cannot be harmed or hurt. You can always go back to this place if things get scary or uncomfortable or too much. So just create this safe space. Notice every detail about it, the sounds that you hear, the smells, the materials it's made up of, or you could be outside. It's wherever your beautiful imagination takes you. What are the scents? What are the sensations that you feel? Everything. Just know that this is your safe space. And then you can invite one of your inner children to step forward with pure open arms, unconditional love. Just say, I am here for you. Whoever wants to show up. And if more than one show up, you can just say, okay, I need to take it one at a time, or whatever happens, just allow it to unfold and just say, who would like to talk to me? And what did you need? And if you were never taught or shown any kind of deep, unconditional love, that is what children need. They need safety, stability, unconditional love. And so the way that I talk about this work, right? It's like, okay, they're going to tell you what they needed. And then what? Then you get to become the parent. So for me, I literally take on the role and title of mother. And I tell my little ones, I'm your mom now. I can give you everything that you need. Your emotions aren't too big for me. You can freak out. You can scream. You can cry. You can swear. You can say anything, do anything, and it's not too big for me. Oh my God, can I tell you? My little ones love that in particular. And then I say, I love you. I love you no matter what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's going on. You are worthy of this lifetime. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of abundance. You are so precious. And I'm here to help support your soul in growing into the beautiful woman that you already are. We're going to do it together. And then I love to tell them the things that are so special about them. This is powerful work. Like telling my inner child how, oh my gosh, you're so curious. You're so creative. Oh my gosh, I love how honest you are. I love that time that you stole gum from your mom's room. And before the night was over, you took it back because honesty is just so important to you. Do you know how rare and cool that is? I love how you organize the kids in the community to do your junior Olympics and you set up all the events. That's you. You're a natural born leader and networker and curator. That work shifts everything in your being today because you're literally rewiring an old thought pattern by doing this work. So if you haven't done this before, if the idea is new to you, if all of this, like if you're listening to me and you're going, that's great, but what is she talking about? That's okay. It's a lot to unpack in a little podcast episode, but here's the invitation. Keep exploring inner child healing. Keep exploring tools and techniques that help you access your inner children, those wounded parts of you that are so ready to be healed and loved, free of criticism, free of anger, free of rage, free of fear and insecurity and stability. Just remind them we are safe. We are safe. And the other thing that I want to invite you to is the next soul observation session is May 1st. It's live via Zoom. It's free for everyone. You can sign up on the website. You can sign up on my Instagram account at cricket_fixes. The link is there. Wherever, I'll put the link here in the description, wherever you find your content with me, you will find the links to the soul observation sessions. And on May 1st, the topic is Inner Child Healing 101. And I'm going to be actually guiding us through these components of the meditation or guided hypnosis session that I talked about in this episode. I'm going to be guiding you through that so that you can experience it for yourself and you don't have to worry about remembering the words or the parts or the things. And I promise you, if you show up, if you come with an open mind and an open heart, I will guide you through it and you will feel a sense of love that is going to reconnect you to the essence of who you are. So I hope that you'll join me on that. Thank you for tuning in. As I move through more and more of these episodes, I'm just going to be coming back to this inner child healing. It really is my jam. And the more that I talk about it and do it with you, the more healing I get from it too. Next time, I want to talk about my 21-year-old who I used to joke would show up in a black hoodie. I nicknamed her Shug. She was my angry one. She was my feisty one. Well, she showed up to me in a psychedelic journey and she had some words for me. So I'm going to talk about Shug in the next episode and how she has completely shifted the anger inside of me, how she has shifted and taught me how to come at things with love and compassion, but how she is a fierce protector of my boundaries. I'm going to share all that in the next episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. I love you all. Have a great day.